I get it. I like Blood Angels.
Auspex scan initiated. I'm picking up a podcast arriving. Wait. Designation. Forge the narrative.
Hey everybody, welcome to Forge the Narrative. My name is Paul, your host. We are about Lost Souls podcast. I'm joined by Red Powell.
Hello.
Adam Camilleri and Tanya Gates.
Evening.
Hello.
What's everybody up to this week?
Oh,
I've just arrived in beautiful New Orleans with my lovely girlfriend.
Are you referring to Nolans?
Oh, is that it? Is that the correct?
I'm probably
I don't know
butchering
these
it.
things.
Ask the locals. You have to ask the locals.
Oh, I will. Oh, yeah, many. But yeah, hanging out in NOLA for the next week. Just living it up. Going to get a bit of Mardi Gras, catch up with some mates, have a great time.
Man, safe travels, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. What are you guys up to?
I might get a one-day RTT in this weekend. Fingers crossed. Just a 3-game one day. Oh, I hope I can do it. I hope that nothing. Gotta knock wood and everything because I feel like every time I buy my ticket, I commit. It's like something comes along that I can't do it.
Well, let's a little. I guess by the time people hear this, you will have already gone or not gone.
That's true. Tune in next week. Well, you'll find out if I actually got to play some games or not.
But we're pulling for you at
Nice.
this moment.
Oh, I've had an incredible 2 weeks, by the way. And because I didn't say last week or the week before, I've been traveling up the East Coast. I was in San Diego for a week.
That is the
hanging out
West
with
Coast.
Oh, yeah, apologies. Whatever.
good.
The Pacific North Spiral, whatever you want to. Yeah. So I was in San Diego for a week, hung out with the Dice Check guys, did some games there. Then I went up to San Francisco with my partner and I played a game on Tabletop Titans, which was a bit of those two together were 2 lovely milestones for me. Both big fans of their work, and it was an absolute honor to be on their shows.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. You pulled out at an impressive upset, if you ask me.
I collected the gym badge, is what I did. Added it to my growing collection.
We'll talk about this later on the show too. I discovered on Twitter a new way to paint gold. Which with a lot of gold armies that I've painted, you think you'd know them all, but nope. New technology, new things, and I actually like the way it turned out. But we'll talk about that later on in the bringing back finishing moves for this week.
Ooh, exciting.
Nice.
We're also approaching a milestone, 9th year of running this show, and I think I'm going to put a link up for some T-shirts in the show notes. And if you're so inclined, I'm going to put a link for some T-shirts and stickers, die-cut stickers. I've actually had these, I've had a sticker and a shirt for about a year and just haven't posted it. But they're great, comfortable, high quality. The sticker's cool. It's been on my laptop for, I guess, about a year. No signs of wear. Looks absolutely awesome. It is the full logo. The T-shirt is the logo we use on the YouTube channel. Put a link in there. No hard sell, but if you're so inclined, maybe want to get a T-shirt, support the show. To maybe we take everybody out on the show for a nice dinner with whatever. We'll give the T-shirts. I don't know. That's my hard sell. And if we can't all get together this year, I'll Uber Eat somebody some stuff.
if sort of nice dinner, we'll just get a nice diner, get a bit of pie and a diner. That'll go down nice. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that's Waffle House around here. I don't know if Adam, have you had a Waffle House yet? Didn't you been here?
I have had Waffle House. Yeah, I had
Okay.
a bit of hash. We have a different concept of hash and hash browns in Australia than what you guys do. This lattice, this unmaking of the potato only to stick the potato back together again. It's very American. Yes. So yeah, I enjoyed my experience so far.
That's good. Well, good. I'm glad it's not an emergency to get you to a Waffle House if you've at least already had a little bit. Maybe I got to teach you to get what to really order, but we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, I had the waffles at the Waffle House as well because I'm like,
Okay.
I'm at the Waffle House. Obviously, this is
Yeah.
the bit where you have the waffle. That's good. Yeah. Waffles are legit.
They have some of the best pickles as well.
Oh, I
Don't tell
love
my
pickles.
don't tell my girlfriend that she'll be all over it.
I treat.
Oh, do they have deep fried pickles? Because like I would do stuff for deep fried pickles.
No, these are just pickles, just regular old dill pickles. But they're so good. They're almost like a side dish.
I have been known to just order a side of pickles before at different restaurants. So yeah,
It's a good time.
yeah.
Yet
Is that
another
like
reason.
is that like a lady thing? Like
Uh,
are pickles like all my best girlfriends are like into pickles, so I don't know.
Look, at Waffle, I'll tell you, it will be whenever I get to Waffle, like extra pickles, please. And just, I put some of them on the sandwich. Some of them don't make it on the sandwich. Just get eaten.
I remember being at the Rio before we started playing games and helping set up, and I was starving. I went and got a club sandwich, and it was quite an expensive sandwich by Adam's take on the world. And I remember some people walked up to me like, "Oh, hey Adam, how you doing?" And I'm like, "This sandwich was this much money, but it came with a pickle, so I can't complain." And that was literal verbatim. Just like because it had a pickle on it, I no longer had the ability to be affronted by the price. Like, fair enough.
They dress it up,
That's it.
make you feel good about the purchase. Well, that's a long way of saying this. Maybe get a T-shirt and maybe we take everybody out to Waffle House. Everybody on the show to Waffle House. But so as far as like weekend stuff coming up, by the time you're hearing this, the Black Library Celebration stuff, I think will be up on for pre-order, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Me too.
Yeah,
I'm super excited about the Black Library material, and they've talked about some previews. They've shown the two characters. They've shown some of the other material that they're going to drop at the same time. It's quite the bundle. I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, Dominion, Zephron, Blood Angel from a couple of different novels, but yeah, and then also there was a Fanfare Rand from the Imperial Fist. This is, so weird. Like I've read the stories, but I didn't picture the Imperial Fist looking this cool.
It's tough. It's tough, right?
It really is. I can't be alone in that.
No. Again, anytime someone talks about yellow, I have a hard time imagining that it's going to be that cool in yellow. And then every once in a while they pull it off, and you give a guy 2 axes, and it's pretty much sold.
Yeah, he's rocketed to the top of like best beard and mustache in Warhammer, I think.
And yeah, where are the Space Wolves players out there? Because I think he's giving a run for their money.
He really is. A couple of axes.
Yeah.
That was actually one of the first things I saw when I saw him. I'm like, wow, look at this, look at the Space Wolf Praetor, whatever the ginger Scottish guy was from that Austin Powers movie, and then look at Fafnir around. You're like, these two things are not created equal. It's a bit sad.
Maybe it is a herald of things to come. Well, we shall see. But I'm definitely going to pick up Zephon.
Did they say they're doing the big poster maps of the palace, Emperor's Palace?
No, it's the defense of Lionsgate.
Okay.
That's what's up. The Imperial Palace was one of the ones they've done. So, and this is not the same Lionsgate map as before. This is Defense of Lionsgate. So it's another one of these. God, these maps are gorgeous. Just absolutely gorgeous, and they don't last long too. So
they're really hard to get a hold of. I have 4. 4. I'm missing the solar map that I really wanted. But like you said, they can be hard to get a hold of, and so it's a struggle to get some of these items. I'm excited for this next rendition. It's going to look really good because I'm going to take that, just given that it's different from what I've seen, and I'm going to put it. I plan on having them all framed because they really are just amazing quality, and so I'm going to frame it, and to have those like one on top of the other is going to be pretty awesome looking.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that. I hope to do the same thing, trying to collect them where I can. But look. I don't know if the pre-order promises in effect or whatever, but I wouldn't risk it. If you're interested in some of these things, I would, some of the printed limited edition things, I would definitely try to be watching that clock and get the pre-orders.
That's right.
But they're absolutely gorgeous. And this is the first time you get, I think, Saturnine in the softback, and that's a great book. That's about. I don't want to. I know, Adam, you're in the middle of reading, aren't you? You're getting there.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through Saturnine. Yeah, it's slowed down a little bit because I've been on the road, but it's a good book.
There's a lot that happens in that book.
The setup right now is fearsome.
Yeah, it gets better. It really does. Like it is a bit of a roller coaster ride the whole way through.
Like how does it get?
Well,
what?
you're gonna have to keep turning those pages, man.
I don't wanna. I want to know.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I'm gonna try to exercise some restraint and not give any spoilers on the show. There more than we already have, because I know we let some slip out sometimes, and I know we're all at different stages reading from the Horus Heresy to the Siege of Terra. So
my dog. I have a puppy, and he chewed the one book that I'm reading in the Horus Heresy series right now, and I just looked at him. I'm like, do you have any idea how hard these are to track down? It's okay though. I love him. I love him.
There was probably a part where a very important character, expires. He's saving you from some of that.
Maybe, yeah. He's just looking out for my heart and soul.
It was kind of clever they did that. Was it Way trying to do a 60-second recap of the Siege Terror, and it's clever. I like it when they get kind of goofy like that. You have to watch it. It's a longer than 60-second video. Sorry, I spoiled that.
Somebody clip the bit where Paul said he's going to stay away from spoilers. Love it.
Good full circle right there.
That wasn't much.
But I'm loving this stuff. I like it when they do the Black Library Celebration. I know it means a lot to certain people to get in there and get the stuff. And they also, I think it was yesterday by the time this is recorded, but previewed the event-only miniatures that you can get through the US events.
Yes, that's the there's a Cruel Boy. It looks like, I didn't read the article, so apologies to me, but it looked like a shaman, and it looked like a Bola, like Blade Guard champion.
So it's a Primaris Company champion. This is even has an entirely new data sheet for use in Legends games of Warhammer 40,000.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, loaded with 3 deadly blade stances. Yeah, I've heard a number. Okay, just a little bit of really, you don't have to get the figure if you don't want it. It's an awesome looking figure though. But to me, I instantly thought, well, isn't there a blade guard bit with a shield on their back? You could just stick it on the back of this thing and use as a blade guard champion, or...
Well, I've been wanting a model to represent my, what would you call him? So my blade guard sergeant that has been upgraded in Black Templars to have the Sword of Judgment and be the Master of the Feast, and this guy is perfect for that. Absolutely perfect for that. Just get him, chuck him in the unit instead of the Sarge or whatever, and he perfectly represents that guy with the relic, carrying the relic, being extra special, extra spicy. I love it.
I like that knightly look to some of these Primaris. The Blade Guard just look super beef, and the characters that are coming out, as we saw, and I know they explained this in the storyline wise, but the original Intercessors, the Indominus and that kind of stuff, they had yet to achieve all those battle honors or whatever, so their armor was a little more a little less adorned with things. And now these Marines seem to represent that they've been battling for 100 years, 200 years or whatever, and they have all these battle honors.
My Dark Angels Blade Guard, I built them off Assault Intercessors, because the fluff for my army is that the Lion's secretly awake at the moment. So he's retaking control of his legion, and it's been reformed as a legion. But the first thing he did was demote all the Primaris Marines, because he wasn't going to have a bunch of Gilliman Patsies in his inner circle, and so they're back to
potential spies.
Exactly, they're back to being rank and file. They get the sword and the board, but they don't get all the tabards and all the inner circle trappings.
That's funny.
I always found it cute.
And you paint them with the black armor, right?
Yeah. My whole army's Heresy color scheme.
Yeah.
So black with splashes of red.
How the checkers coming along?
Yeah.
You're all over that, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I've got some beautiful decals for checkers. Thank you very much.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait.
Do you know what? Funnily enough, where I found them, this could be a finishing move segment one day. Ladies' fingernails services.
Oh,
online.
You mentioned that, yeah.
And yeah, they've got some beautiful decals for ladies' fingernails that are perfectly applicable for miniatures.
So you just got them all from your orc friends.
No, they need them all.
But I've actually seen that with the fingernail pattern, the stencils. I don't know if you just got the decals or actual. There are fingernail stencils that are, if you look, you can find some that are the right scale, right proportions, or whatever for miniature.
So funny, sort of going the other way. Now that I don't work with power tools anymore, I've started getting my nails done again, and I was like, man, I wonder if like Warhammer transfers could be put into my nails now. So I'm gonna like bring a transfer sheet to my nail tech and be like, what can you do with this? So you might see me like rocking some like Space Wolf nails or something at some point in the future.
That's really cool. I bet they would, especially if you put like a hard coat on the decal and then another hard coat.
Well, these are like long like sculpted nails, so I'm sure she's a genius. She can figure it out. But I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, people are like, what is that? You'd be at the grocery store. It's another opportunity to talk about Warhammer.
Excellent. That's what my life is. It's just one giant opportunity to talk about Warhammer.
Isn't that the best though?
It is. Love it.
I love these all the like embellishments on the new Primaris as they come out, and kind of following along with that. They just look super tough. But then the Black Templar, they somehow like did that like +1 kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's really hard not to want to collect Black Templar.
It is. You're feeling a lot of that, aren't you, at the moment, mate? Because I know you felt the same way about a certain golden armored contingent of the Emperor's Finest.
Look, the Custodes are. I mean, look. Now that I've actually figured out this paint scheme too, but we'll talk about that later. Come on, it's like 20-something miniatures. Who couldn't do this in a weekend?
Dang.
Especially. Well, no, with the gold, just with the metallics. Like Danny, yours are way more complex than that, and very fancy.
They are fancy, yeah. They don't look fancy though, but
they do. They do.
Do they?
Pretty fancy.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
People, look, they can see them. Go to Instagram at the War Mistress. You would see it, or on Twitter. So wherever you go, see those pictures you got posted.
Yeah, well, I am on sabbatical still for a little bit longer, but when I come back, there's going to be a flood of pictures of things that I've painted. So.
Nice.
Yes.
Especially with Marines and like just it's kind of hard not to get caught. Because miniatures look so cool. Like, I could see, because you kind of, part of what I do is I just imagine them being on the table, or I imagine building a list or them fighting or whatever. And it's like, I got to do this.
I have this perpetual thing where I finish a unit, I get the basing done, and I sit them down. I just have like a huff, like a chuckle to myself, like we're gonna do some awesome things, and then I proceed to do like no awesome things with them for like the first 7 games that I play that unit, because the curse. We all know the curse exists. No one needs to. The last thing you painted is the worst thing in your army. It's just the rule.
Yeah,
and we all abide by it.
No matter what,
it will be destroyed first, targeted, like used against you. Yeah. Amazing.
I have just about decided though that every Marine that I paint this year will be red. So if I get the desire to paint, an ATV or whatever, it's going to be Blood Angel ATV.
So you're not allowed to paint any other schemes.
For Marines.
Okay. I mean, as in, yeah, exactly right. No matter what comes out for Marines, we're going to hold him to that, guys.
Yes.
I've also decided that this year I've got my factions, and I'm not, at least for 40k, like actually for Age of Sigmar 2, like I'm not starting anything new. I have enough stuff accumulated for Custodes and Orcs and Space Wolves and Guard and my Ogre Mod Tribes army for Age of Sigmar. Like I don't need to branch out and start any new armies. I'm good. Hold me to it.
Yeah, I just recently kind of organized like all my Primaris Blood Angels and started, putting them in some different storage configurations where I can see them. Like I could actually display them on a shelf and I can see the whole, like everything I've done. And it just looks so cool. All that red armor and the black rims, shoulder pads, and that kind of just like, man, this is just, and the yellow helmets and everything. Like, I'm just really feeling it. Like I feel like I need to commit. If I'm gonna paint a Marine, then probably I think I'm gonna appreciate expanding the Blood Angel force more.
I'm feeling the pull of Space Wolves again, but I have no desire to really play them. But I really, really want to paint them because I painted Ragnar in like it's closer to like a Heresy color scheme. It's like the darker gray, and it looks really, really good. And I'm like, man, a Dreadnought would look really good in this color scheme.
What kind of Dreadnought? Is there like that was actually what I was going to ask? Is there a particular unit that is calling you?
Yeah, Redemptor Dreadnought. I have one. It's not assembled, but I have one.
It's nice. When you put that together together, you don't have to commit to the gun option. It fits on a nub.
Oh, and then you could just sort of pressure fit it.
You could basically pressure fit it. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Let's build all the options.
Yeah, you can keep the option. They don't use the same parts.
Okay. Well, thank you for the tip.
The Invictor War Suit is very similar as well.
I feel like Space Wolves, like a Space Wolves army needs at least 2, right? Invictor War Suits.
They're very aggressive.
Right?
Yeah. And jury's still out for me whether or not if I'm gonna have one posed carrying the heavy bolter, like in its hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is cool that it has it.
I'd like you to pose it using the heavy bolter as a club. It's got a power fist, or it could be shooting the heavy bolter. Instead, it's hitting you with the heavy bolter.
I wonder if you can do that.
Because that's disdain. That's total disdain.
It does have the heavy bolter, that it goes on its hip.
Yeah.
So you probably could do that.
Yeah, it should is the real question here, as it usually is whenever I open my mouth.
I don't know, especially if you got 2, get a little creative with the posing. With the Invictor's pretty fun. But see, what I'm talking about, like this, you just get this. You see the miniature start to, basically go through the motions with it, all the narrative in your head, and it just has to get out, has to make its way out.
It does. It needs to become a thing. But see, then, I know so many people, and I am part of this as well, where you get the vision in your head, and then you go and get the model, and you start building the model, and that vision gets squeezed out your ear because another vision has taken its place. So then you must go and pursue this vision.
Are you in the middle of a bit of a hobby crisis?
Oh, no. This is one of the greatest things about being on holiday, and this is the kind of journey I'm on, is that I don't have the physical capacity to take things with me. I have a case that could not have more models in it if I tried. It's impossible to fit more models in. I took more models than I needed, specifically because I didn't want to buy and build and try and build stuff on the fly while I was running around, which was very annoying because I did this journey pre-chapter approved, and now there's a bunch of models that I want because they went down in points. Yikes.
Well, that's what you get for
for following your dreams and stuff.
That's right. Serves me. Suck it, Adam. Yeah.
Look, I'm sure that people you're visiting will be kind enough to lend you some models or allow you to proxy.
Yeah, but they won't be painted like
extenuating circumstances.
It's not the same as me having my stuff.
Agreed. But yeah, that's it. So I mean, yeah, maybe we'll see. It's the middle of February. See if I can hold true to this.
Yep.
But and custodes don't count.
Okay.
And if I'm painting for a buddy, it doesn't count.
Okay. You know what borrowing models is? It's using someone else's bathroom, and using your models is using your bathroom. It's your toilet. There's no toilet like your own.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I cracked the code, guys. There it is.
No, especially when you're there, you're on an experience, you're on a journey. It's like you want to savor the moment with all the stuff that you did and brought it to this. You got to think that because it's a bit of a story on its own. We talk about the miniatures as their own story, but you traveled from another continent and are over here right now, and think that journey began over there and made it over here to potentially win a game.
Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll win a game. Yeah.
So I understand. Let me know if you need me to send you some models.
How many storm speeders do you own?
Probably the wrong guy.
Fair.
Probably the wrong guy for the storm speeders at the moment.
Is it weird that I wish they had one less wound? They could be the same points, and one less wound would be fantastic.
What are you trying to do with them?
Well, I'm trying to have them not degrade.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. If they were exactly the same and didn't degrade, so much more exciting.
I can give you a tip if you'd like.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't get them hurt.
Oh, you showed me, Paul.
Just roll 6s.
You have to get them, paint them, and then tell your opponent you painted something else for last, and so they'll shoot at the other things.
That's right.
Leaving your storm speeders unscathed.
Yeah.
You got to go deep on this.
You do. There's no. You got to commit.
Yeah. Follow us for more tips.
That's the tips, guys. I remember in fantasy. So one of the and I'll be as much as fantasy was literally my game. It was the game that I felt like I was at one with more than any other game I'd ever played ever. Tabletop, cards, anything. Online video games, nothing spoke to me like Warhammer Fantasy did.
Mhm.
But I remember that your most beloved or the unit you just finished getting killed first hurt in that game more than anything else. Because, like, I remember I finished my first horde of bloodletters. 40 bloodletters in a unit. Took me forever to paint up 40 bloodletters for just one unit. Bam, all dead. I'm like, oh my god, my soul just ripped from my body.
Well, see, I charged you from behind. I have
Yeah.
5 models on horses.
All crumble. See you, mate.
you know,
Crumble away. Turn to
I did
dust.
7 wounds.
Yeah.
You didn't do any back. It's just
Yeah.
you got to roll the dice. That's really unfortunate.
The only one that was worse was when like people like got their brand new zombie dragon. They just built it, painted it, beautiful. All their magnificent, Forge World piece, their siege giant or whatever, and it just bang cops a cannon to the teeth. Takes a cannonball to the back of the skull. Dead top of turn 1. See you, mate.
That they had to guess the range to hit you.
It wasn't very hard. That was one of the biggest. That was one of the biggest issues with 8th edition. Like nothing seemed that hard. Like any problem unit you had, as long as I had the right spell and 6 dice, I could generally make the problem go away. And so it kind of always there was a few too many bad feels interactions per game for it to be always a good time.
I just meant like the cannonball that they had to be like 32.5 inches, dead square on your forehead. Put you back in the box.
Yeah. It was always, I think it was always 8 inches from the back of your base, because on average, that was the most mathematical likely hit on one of the 2 dice. Was it 8 inches from the back? Or was it 12 inches from the back? Either way.
No, that sounds right.
That was the thing. We all said the same thing in unison, and 9 times out of 10, the thing worked, and no one was happy about it. Like that was the thing as well in fantasy. It was one of those times when no one was especially happy with the state of the game, but no one wanted to be the person who wasn't playing with those things. Like your purple sun, you're taking 2 cannons per. If your army could take a cannon equivalent, be it a iron blaster, be it your dwarven cannons or whatever it was, everyone felt obliged that they must do that. Even the Skaven guys were taking 2 lightning cannons over their work.
I had a buddy for years. He would take 2 Hellblaster volley guns or whatever, and almost like clockwork, the first time we'd fire them, they would just explode.
Yep. That's why he brought 2.
For years.
Guaranteed one of them would die and kill itself. Like pretty on top.
Like for a solid decade, that's what happened.
For a solid decade. I love it.
But an old fantasy. I'm with you on that. Yeah, that was the worst. It's like, oh man, I finally got this unit done, and morale is a real thing.
Yes.
But I gotta say, I mean, come on. As a person who has painted my fair share of bloodletters, I mean, Adam, you just had them all like in a bucket, and you just dumped like sweet and sour sauce in there, and they came out red, and you were fine. Like, don't make it sound like it was more than that. You know what I mean?
Sweet and sour sauce.
Come on.
I actually painted my bone color. I had bone.
Oh, okay.
It was Xandru dust, and then I dry brushed it with Carrick stone, and then I applied 2 washes, and then I dry brushed it with the Yusharpti bone.
Oh, there you go.
And then I picked out the spines with a bit of black feathering towards the tips, and then I painted the swords. But you're right, it still wasn't that hard.
Oh no, look, I'm not again, no hobby shaming here. That's
yeah, I'm not hobby shaming. I'm just trying to. We can't be,
not red?
We can't be blowing it out of proportion though.
Hey, so the actual issue that I had with that was because I was a student at the time, and I could only afford to buy 1 box every fortnight. So that took me 2 months to buy that unit of 40 dudes.
But see that I feel like that's a formative experience in teaching you discipline and acquisition of models. So I can really appreciate the background of that.
Oh, I learned nothing. I learned nothing but impatience. No, you're absolutely
right.
You're absolutely right. It did teach me a lot.
But
And for a while, even after I'd gotten a job, I managed to maintain my every week or 2 buy a box. Don't buy the next one until it's finished, etc., etc., etc.
That's strong. It is. That's tough. It's easy especially now for us to accumulate things that maybe we don't get to, which has got me. That's actually why I painted this Custodes. I shouldn't say that because I was working on two things at once, all at the same time while procrastinating on not painting what I was actually setting out to paint that day. So it's like this weird circle that's got me to this sweet gold recipe we'll talk about after the break. Actually, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about a tournament happening in Ireland. And
amazing.
Yeah, I know. How cool is that? We get to talk about stuff all over the world. Anyway, we'll talk about that coming up here, and then we'll see you all in just a second.
See you.
FTN is brought to you by Discount Games Inc. Please visit them at www.discountgamesinc.com. And don't forget to ask Jay about ways to save even more on your hobby projects.
Hey everybody, we are back. Thanks for checking out our sponsors. It means a lot to us and them. Yeah, I mentioned we're going to talk about a tournament in Ireland. This is pretty cool. This is the Warhammer 40,000 Mayor's Cup in association with Belong To, the first ever annual Mayor's Cup. This will be an annual event hosted by Underworld Gaming. It's in Dublin, Ireland. And they reached out, asking if we would mention it. We know there's a lot of folks that listen in that area, so happy to mention it, especially for the cause and what they're trying to do for the community there. I will post a link in the show, in the show notes. I love hearing from folks all over the world that are playing Warhammer 40,000, and if they can, associate it with doing, like stuff for good cause, good people, happy to mention it when we can.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been pretty awesome in watching, especially over time. You mentioned the show being, we were talking earlier about the 9 years, right? 9 years coming up, and just watching the community grow and being able to engage and promote the community and people getting out and using wargaming as a hobby and opportunity to expand who we're interacting with and really just making things all around better by doing so. It's pretty awesome.
They say this year's charity is Belong To, who do incredible work supporting young LGBT plus people in Ireland. So if you're in that area,
freaking credible.
That's March 26th and 27th.
Had to get my prerequisite one interrupt.
That's good. I'll go ahead and check that one off my bingo card, Adam.
Thank you. But legit, I'm so happy to be where we can say and promote things like this. Amazing.
Yeah, really cool. And yes, I'll try to post the link in the show notes. Check it out. There may be a way to even support them if you can't make it to Dublin, but that would be neat if possible. Yeah, if anybody else is doing stuff like that, especially if there's a charity piece to it, most of us on the show have contributed or been a part of charity things that happen throughout the year for various organizations, and it's just cool to kind of build awareness around that kind of stuff. A lot of people need different things at different times, and if we can help shine a light on some of these causes, then I really enjoy doing it.
Well, since you say that, every year I do a charity tabletop simulator game to support my chosen charity, which is Brain Trust Canada. So once I get details on that, I'm gonna let you guys know.
That's cool. Of course, there's going to be some raffles coming up for Nova Open Charitable Foundation later on this year. I'm sure we can talk about. There's all kind of things. There's lots of different ways for people to interact. I think that there's enough different things out there that if there's a particular cause or an organization or whatever that you feel comfortable or feel called to support, then there's some opportunities out there.
We should legitimately do like an FTN bingo. We should do it and raise money for a cause through the FTN bingo. Like how many episodes till you hit bingo, and you have to time stamp them, and if you get it right, you win a prize, and it's an XYZ entry fee. And we have enough. Well, I'll speak for myself. I have enough tropes, just me on this show, that I think I could. Like Adam gets sassed by Red. Tick.
Dang,
Adam interrupts. Tick.
I was going to ask if that was going to be in the middle, but I think Paul mentioning Blood Angels is in the middle.
It's the free square.
I wasn't willing to speak to other people's.
You see how I worked it in earlier. I worked the Blood Angel in earlier without talking about Blood Angels. It was like, I'm just, it was subtle.
Just gonna paint them red. Mine would be Tanya gets put on the spot by Adam. That would be fine.
Rough.
So let's do a finishing move segment. This is so a finishing move segment is it started out as a hobby segment that if you spent 5 minutes doing something else to your mind, you thought you were done, but you really could just spend like 5 minutes, just doing one other little step that maybe you didn't think was attainable, but with some technique got you there. That you can make your models look a lot more flashy. Maybe push yourself to make things attainable. It's kind of evolved over time to be something of a hobby segment, where we talk about all different types of skills. Some things are a little bit easier than others. So, I craft my Twitter feed at Warmaster_TPM. It's all hobby stuff, and something came across my feed. It's from an individual. Ale Grimwood is the username, at GR1MMAS, who posted a cool gold armor like figure, and someone asked how they did it, and then they went on to say how they did it, and I tried it and it worked. And I'll tell you how I did it right now. Sprayed lead belcher just right out of the can, exactly what I did, and then go paint all over it with Nazdrag yellow. That's the contrast paint. How I did the Nazdrag was I did like 2 brushfuls of the contrast and then 1 brushful of water. I didn't use contrast medium. I just used water, and all over everywhere I wanted it to be gold, and then dry brush with Stormhost silver, and then wash with Agrax Earthshade. When I did my wash, I only washed in the recesses. I did not do an all-over wash. And then they go on to state that they highlight with Stormhost Silver on top of that. I have not put in that last Stormhost Silver highlight yet, but I don't know that it needs it. Maybe because I didn't do an all-over wash with Agrax. But this armor took me approximately, I don't know how long does it take to take Nazdrag yellow to dry. That was
No
that
more
was
than
how
half
long.
an hour, right?
Yeah, not very long. And that's how long it took me to do the armor. Now, gone back in, done the cloak and that kind of stuff, but I'm not quite sure. I'm doing Trajan Valoris. That's the model I had assembled next to me while I was waiting on. I'm working on doing some Buddy's Necrons, and I'm still painting some Aldari stuff. So I'm, kind of juggling these projects, and I'm like, you know what? While I'm waiting on some washes to dry, let me just try this recipe because it looks so cool on this miniature I already have painted, sprayed it with the lead belcher, and it really was lickety split. I mean, almost table ready with that recipe. What it gave me was a bright, like a very warm gold, whereas Retributor armor, which I love, still love Retributor armor, it's a little bit darker on the gold side.
Yeah, I always found that Retributor armor lends itself more to oranges and kind of red, that kind of burnished or copper kind of side of the gold spectrum. But I might be remembering it wrong. Or is that Balthazar gold? I might be thinking Balthazar gold.
That's either Balthazar or what is it? I don't know if that's the new name, but I know what you're talking about. Retributor armor is a great. Yeah. It's great. Right out of the pot, it's probably one of my favorite metallics to use, period.
I think the coverage on it is the best gold coverage I've ever used.
Yeah, and it comes in a spray can too. But I have 50 Sanguinary Guard, and they're all basically Retributor armor, and I wanted, thought of it, how to distinguish these two different armies. They were sitting next to each other on the shelf, or playing them in the same game or something like that. Who knows? And this technique, I liked the end result, and it seemed attainable. Seemed like right within my comfortability of like skill. I can apply a wash. I've gotten pretty good at dry brushing, and it works. So I mean, please, check out the proofs in the pudding. Of course, eye on the beholder kind of thing. And I posted a pretty far along work in progress on my Twitter. And I say far along work in progress. What I haven't done, I'm using the red brown leather recipe that is from the Warhammer Paint app, which is what they use for their Custodes leather. I think it's Doombull brown and then highlighted with Wasdocker red.
Yep.
And then highlighted with a squig orange. That's the warm red, or the red brown red, and that's what I'm using for that. And the colors work well together with the gold.
I like to experiment with metallics. I like to experiment with washes on metallics, and I think it's because I struggle with painting metallics. It's one of the only things that I dry brush, but sometimes just using a different color to wash your metallics changes it up so much, just makes it that much more interesting. On a lot of my orcs, I I'll actually wash Iron Warriors with what's the blue wash?
Guilliman Glaze, or you mean Drakenhof Nightshade?
Yeah, Drakenhof Nightshade. And I just think it looks really cool, and it sort of, because my orcs are Death Skulls, they have a lot of blue on them. It sort of just doesn't fight against like this overall blue color scheme that I have going on. And then for my Custodes, I have been washing, because there is a little bit of gold on them. They are mostly red, but there is gold on them. But I wash them with Reikland Flesh Shade.
That's got reddish in it.
But mine are like white gold kind of. So the Reikland Flesh Shade just kind of ends up looking like a tarnish. Kind of makes it look old.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I like to sort of experiment a little bit.
Yeah, why not? What do you put down as the base
for my white gold?
Yes.
I'm using a Vallejo polished gold. And I don't even really do a really good base coat on it. It could be streaky or whatever. It doesn't matter, because I'm going to be dry brushing 2 more layers on top of it. So yeah, I just do a really quick base coat of the polished gold and then Reikland Flesh Shade. And then I use a light bronze color as a dry brush on top. It's a heavy dry brush, and then I do a lighter dry brush of it's actually called white gold. Those are both from Monument Hobbies.
Yeah, I think the trick with metallics is finding something that people, works for you. Well, guys, with any paint really, but for this, when you're dealing with something that's like all one color, and when you can get such a cool effect out of a wash, I was like, this can't work. This well, but that's the contrast. People are finding more and more things to do with contrast paint, and it's not just for one thick coat. I guess it can be, but you can, if you get nuanced with it, then it's like I don't know, it's got all kind of applications.
My husband uses a lot of contrast paints when he's painting, and I don't think you could ever tell, just because he puts so much like extra details into it. But yeah, he's doing a Cruel Boys army for Age of Sigmar, actually, and he's doing them all yellow skin, but he's using one of the contrast yellows. It looks amazing.
I bet this is Nazdrag yellow.
It's like the really, really bright one.
That's the Iyanden, maybe?
Iyanden, yeah, it's Iyanden.
Yeah, they look fantastic.
Yeah, it's not. I've heard of people using contrast as their base coat because it coats so quickly.
That's what I do. It works out pretty
well. Maybe that's where I heard it.
I'm absolutely. It might be because I'm just that. There's a lot of ways to go about it, and my Gaunt's Ghost, like I will go back and do more details. Tanya, I think your husband's on the right path. Like, it's great to start from and then to build off of in a lot of ways. Because the way it falls, I think it kind of guides, at least for me, it gives me a good guide of where places I should highlight and things like that. And so using it as the base for all my models has gone really well for my Gaunt's Ghost so far.
Well, I can tell you that he has finished way more armies since starting to use contrast paints. Like I think last month he finished a Death Guard army that looks fantastic, and he's doing a lot of like alternative color schemes. So his Death Guard army is like rusty bronze and like turquoise. And yeah, ever since he started using contrast, he's just been more inspired to actually get stuff done. So it's really, really quite cool watching his journey.
It's those middle steps sometimes that can be, I don't want to say intimidating to people, but daunting, disheartening when you're looking at your model and like, this is just a mess.
Trust the process.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. But not everybody gets over that step, I don't think. And if contrast can help with that, and that's what I think is just you get through that awkward phase.
We call it the butt stage in this house because your model just looks like butt, and you just keep putting paint on it until it doesn't look like butt anymore.
Stage, so good.
I felt that way doing this white armor for the Beltane Guardians or the Rangers on the back of these bikes or whatever, I'm just like, oh, this is just, this is not going well until like I know, trust the process. You've got the shade in the recesses. All you got to do is paint around it. Don't screw it up by sticking it in your brush in the recess, and everything's gonna be fine. Sure enough, it was.
Yeah, that's the mantra. You just trust the process. Trust the process. Just repeat it until you believe it.
Yeah, but the experimenting is cool too. That's what you see this thing and like, wow, let's give it a shot. I really felt, getting a character model, a centerpiece model to look decent. And I think it looks better than decent, but you know what I'm saying? Get it to something you're happy with is kind of inspiring. Like, oh, I could do a couple of squads of this, and then your couple of squads turn into an army, and then you got a fully painted army to play whenever you want. Then when one unit comes out you want, or you want to change up a squad or whatever for a tournament, it's no big deal. Got to paint a lot less.
And you know what? Honestly, like figuring out your color scheme takes so much time. Like, I don't know why, but just that first model or that first squad that you do, it's going to take like at least 3 times as long as any other unit. And as you keep painting more and more of your army, the process gets more and more refined, and you figure out which steps are really unnecessary, and you just sort of go into like autopilot a little bit. And then
did you need 3 base coats on that pouch, to get the brown you want?
maybe you could just get by with like 1 highlight, it's just a pouch. Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I threw up went out to the brain trust. I did not expect to get to the cloak stage of this model for many days. I now don't have any idea how to paint the cloak. Please help.
Please help. I gave a suggestion. And
Oh,
you
no,
were like,
yeah.
No.
Well, so, I felt, I need to stick within, like, oh, I got concerned, like, oh, I can't, how bold can I go?
Be bold.
Yeah. Well, I went purple. Yes, people got to check it out. I think it's, give some feedback.
Purple's a good choice.
Let me know how I did. But see how the recipe worked out, and then, how it looks around it. Studying the website, figuring out what's supposed to be a gem, what's an embellishment of the armor or whatever. So I've painted some custodians. The only thing I painted 1 custodian guard that I used as basically a prop in a diorama for the Adepticon team champion a couple of years ago, and the 3 Conical jet bikes that everyone had when Shield Captains first came out.
Yeah.
So I'm on uncharted territory.
As I'm looking at a Galatis and 3 bikes and 4 Terminators and 4 Guardians and Trajan Valoris that all need to be done in 2 weeks.
You got this.
You got this.
Oh, but Shield Captains and stuff on Conical jet bikes are back.
Yes, they are, and they're so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, they're so much fun.
It seems nice to fly around and stab people with big spears.
Right?
Who would have thought?
I really like the way the Sagittarium look, and that's actually one of the things I flirt with every time I start thinking about Custodes. I'm like, oh, can I get 10 of these in a list?
Just use their heads. I'm gonna alienate some people. There's another bingo card. Tick. Adam alienates portion of the audience. I'm not a fan of the Conical plumed helm. I actually much prefer the Sagittarium.
Yeah, you mentioned that, but I think those bolters, those like real chunky bolters, and those helmets, they look cool.
The only issue I had was when I didn't have the plumed helmets on. It was a little bit too much gold. You needed to actually paint some panels not gold to break it up, because essentially everything from the loincloth tabard up is just straight gold at that point. Like, you need gems, you need like really bright eye lenses, you need something.
What about hooded heads?
That would be sick.
Yeah.
I don't mind painting the gems on that kind of stuff, especially because look, I'm a firm believer that if you save time, like say you're using an airbrush or whatever, and you're saving time on models, invest that time in some of the details that you might not have done before, such as like painting every gem, everything that's raised on Eldari armor or whatever could easily be a gem if you wanted it to be.
Yeah, did any of you guys end up using the gem paints? Maybe I've said this on the show before. What happened to the gem paints that GW did?
I think they still exist, but I have not. I do not use them as
They're-
on the regular. No.
Technicals. I use them for sometimes like visors or eyepieces or glass. That kind of stuff. They work pretty well. I think they can do
Nice.
quite a bit.
I feel like with new Eldar sculpts coming out, people are going to want to know. Well, and Custodes being strong, people are going to want to remember those exist.
You have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you don't have to, and Red, maybe you can speak to it more than I do, but you don't paint them on the same way that you do apply the other paint. You kind of paint them in reverse.
It is. I mean, it's almost, it's got a glaze-like quality to it, and where it comes on, I mean, you're instead of it being like a wash at whatever extent, I felt like you go through a lot of what you would think you do after you put it on, and then you come back and put it on at the closer to the end, I guess. There's a little bit of like finer highlighting that you can do beyond that, so it's not too bad. But it's I like it. It especially works for some of those smaller pieces because it captures the shine pretty well as far as the technical goes.
Does it give you like the gradient as if you were? I mean, I know it's kind of sparkly, or it is kind of sparkly, right?
It is, yeah. But it's not like glittery. It's not that sparkly, but it's just enough with the gloss that you can go back in some of the eyepieces and maybe just do like after you. So you brighten it up, you start with, your base and you kind of bring it up some, and then you put that in there, and it'll catch that gloss aspect to it with the coloring that you use. So there's a red, green, and blue. And so you go through, you've got those options available to you. And then you can put, just a slight amount of highlighting just on top of it to capture wherever that brightest, white or highlight that you want from there.
Yeah, I'm digging it. I mean, look, if people can put it in their arsenal and use it, and I do think that sometimes you do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using these hacks, these techniques. Remember, we non-artists call them cheats. Artists call them techniques. And why not? When I use it, and there are, I don't know. I've got kind of a gem recipe. I don't know that I'm putting all the colors in the right spots, but I feel like I give a really good impression of a gem-like area on a model. Does that make sense?
Gem-like area is fantastic.
It's gem-ish.
Yeah. Gem.
Like people are gonna look at that and go, "That's probably it might be a gem."
I won't even get into my technique on how I do gems because I mean it takes me like 2 seconds to do it, but it does require having like like on my palette I have like a transition of colors from like black to whatever color the gem is, just painting little U shapes inside the gem until.
Well, that's pretty much my technique for lenses, eye lenses, lights, gems, portholes. Yeah, it's the same. It's it's just a different, the crescent that I paint is just like on a different part of the shape, I guess.
Yeah, because you kind of want it to be brightest at the bottom.
Yeah.
Gems and lenses and stuff. Yeah.
Is that where it is? That's where one of the things I fall down on is like nobody knows where the light's shining from on my models.
It's hard. It's hard. I personally sort of paint in a more stylized way. So it's kind of cel shaded, so I don't really have to give too much thought to a lot of that. If I wanted to like get good at painting though, that would probably be the first thing that I start to work on is like where is the light actually coming from, and then doing more work with object source lighting.
Yeah, so with object source lighting, that's when I feel like distract people from like the other highlights. Just look at this.
But you know what that is? That is actually a technique, right? Is to like have something that you want people to be drawn on your model, and then you don't put as much effort into the other parts, right?
Yeah.
Faces and bases, right?
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, all good. I know this has been that we're talking about a lot of hobby tips, but it's one of those people are all in like new year, new army. There's people getting ready for the tournament season. This is essentially the beginning of the new tournament season. Adam's on a quest to be the best.
Yeah, like no one was before.
You haven't mentioned that yet.
Yeah, funny that song was from The Lion King that I just referenced, and my quest is to become the greatest Dark Angel in 2022. Now I'm gonna try and I'll see where the road takes me this year, but I'm hoping I stay in the States long enough to rack up a couple of attendances at decent sized events. Hopefully doing well at those, and I'm hoping to try and be the best Dark Angels player in 2022. At least that is the quest I'm placing myself upon. And I'm interested in getting some ideas, because I literally just told you guys the concept before they started the show. I just jumped in and say, hey, I'd like to talk about this, but I'd like to document the journey, or at least create some content regarding it that people can, I don't know, join me on, so to speak, like my ups, my lows, what I'm taking, why I'm taking it, like probably do something vlog like. And I know you guys have all definitely had experience there. So what advice would you give to me and anyone else doing a similar adventure?
So what a lot of people don't ingrain within themselves is really when to pull that camera out. Be disciplined with what you do, because you'll inevitably come to a point where you have a decision of, is this worth doing a 5-minute video or talking about? And you will decide not to, and you really should have decided to do it.
Yeah, okay.
And
I think I understand.
Yeah, and then making it building a disciplined routine. If you're going to truly document the stuff.
Yeah. Is it something you think you should do like every week, no matter what, or should I just do it pre and post event?
I think you should commit to a routine, whether that be weekly or bi-weekly or only before and after events. Like that could easily be the routine, but you just have to commit to it, because I guess what happens when you don't have an event or you have to miss your event, you then not record. I don't know. You're talking to somebody who's recorded every week for, on a decade at this point. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask.
All the perfect person to ask.
I think there's something to that, really. I mean, the routine piece of it just keeps you understand your preparation deal to it. You can do whatever events you did, just build it up into that routine that you have. I think that there's something to certain aspects of the events, especially with vlogging and blogging and the access that we have, interconnecting your platforms so that you post to Instagram and it posts to Facebook, and you can connect it so that your post to your blog or WordPress or whatever you end up using as your platform goes into your Facebook, and using that to track where you're able to engage with people, so that they can you can share your journey, and you're able to get feedback, right? Because while you are the producer in a lot of regards of the content, you're not the only one, regardless of what it may seem like. You're definitely not on the journey alone. And trying to get the buy-in and feedback of the others that are there. They're not just the silent reader or the observer. They can be as part of it as well, and that can also help influence your way ahead to certain degrees.
That's a great way of putting it. Like, you're not in this alone. This isn't, and I suppose that's most of the point. I'm trying not to do a self-serving program. I'm trying to do something that'll maybe inspire, or maybe at least document a journey that others might want to follow someday.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, this is how I did it. If I'm successful, if I'm unsuccessful, why not, etc.
So if that's the case, then I would suggest don't just do it just before and after events, because you want to show people all of the work that goes into, it's not just showing up for events and winning or losing, right? Like, you want to win, so there's going to be a certain amount of work that you're going to have to put in between those events. I think it's really important to show that, but also do it in a way that is accessible. And like you said, it's not always going to be easy. And I think being vulnerable with people, that's how you're going to get people to want to, see you through to the end, right? Like, here's this person who's being brave and showing us this incredibly difficult thing that they're doing, and now we're invested and we want to see them succeed. At least that's how I basically now see my Instagram stories as like one continuous vlog of my life.
Yes. That's fair.
And maybe my vlogs only last 24 hours, but I try to have some sort of value in all of them, whether that is something positive that I learned, or something that was really hard for me, but I came out the other side. I think I think it's really interesting if you've not shared on that level before. It can be very difficult to be vulnerable with people. I kind of get the feeling that maybe won't be difficult for you, though.
Well, hopefully that was for a lovely reason.
Of course. No, it's because maybe people don't know this about you, but I think that you are very like emotionally aware of yourself, you know?
Thank you. That's a lovely compliment. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I think that that'll make people like invested in your success.
and that's the thing as well. Like, and I suppose that's where I'll circle this back to Paul. How do I make people want to listen to me, or want to watch me? Because this is something that will be quite sandboxed in the fact that I'm talking specifically about something like a specific, not even all the Space Marines. I'm talking just about a sub-faction of a faction. How do I give it broader appeal or make it something that many people feel like they care about?
Like, I get it. I like Blood Angels, and people tolerate me liking Blood Angels. I get it.
Well, that and you've been in the game and you've made a podcast that has ridiculously wide appeal.
Oh no, I was sort of be a little tongue in cheek, but I think being genuine. I mean, as far as like, I know sometimes I come off as like a fanboy, but I genuinely feel the way that I do, and people know that my money is where my mouth is. Like when I do these. When I talk about a paint scheme or a technique or whatever, I've done it or I've tried it. If I really get jazzed about an army, I play it, kind of thing. But with this, it's like I like to be conversational. I like to engage people, and when they want to share their stories, I'm keen to hear it, kind of thing. And that's it. But I think is what you want to do is find what's natural to you, and people will they'll either like gravitate to it because that's also natural within them, or they respect it, or they may not like it and just like watching you be awkward in their eyes. You never know. But the core of it is being, I think, true to yourself. You gotta figure out a rhythm in how you're doing it and what you want to produce. What you want to put out there, and then be consistent, and then you'll find the audience. And you can also you take away people's reasons not to engage with you. Like you want to have good video quality, you want to have good audio quality. You want to try to release things with like we were talking about, with some consistency. I found, like, when I'm doing some video stuff recently, I found a great app. Like, the app is it's close enough to pro for me, as a complete layman, but it has easy to understand controls that does not make it tedious for me to want to record.
Nice.
And
you showed me that. I was really impressed with that program as well.
Yeah, it's super easy to use, and that was the thing. So when I went to do it, and when I went to set it, I didn't dread it. It was new to me, or I should say, not new to me to talk, but it's new to me to be my own cameraman outside of something that is not designed, to just be consumed. Like on my personal feed, I do like food reviews with my sons. Eat donuts, whatever. It's clearly not designed for mass market or whatever. But to get to that next level, I had to find something that I could do. Same with painting, was something that I had to feel confident that I could do it and make it not. Didn't feel like too much of a chore to get it moving.
Yeah. No, that's actually amazing advice. To Red, I got a question for you regarding goal setting in your realm of expertise, in military expertise. What's a clever way of building some of that stuff into this production, into this content, also into my mindset?
Yeah. So I think you'll enjoy this bit, but it's kind of man, you just got me all excited. So
activate.
Strategy, tactics, and operational efforts, right? So strategy is like the big picture, right? You want to have this journey, and you want it to be something that you're going to clearly enjoy, and it's going to be a part of your life, and you want it to spread and be something that's for other people, right? And so the overall journey and how you go about it, you're talking about like ends, ways, and means, right? So you know what your ending is, you know what you have available to you, and now you got to figure out the way in which you're going to accomplish this, right? And so tactics is going to be, and I'm sorry, Tanya, I'm giving a little bit of a preview of maybe a future conversation we might have, but the tactics piece is going to be all the little things you do, right? Like a vlog post here or a event review here or something like that. Now you got to tie all those things together in order to achieve your strategy, and that's where the operational approach, the operational efforts comes in. And so you're going to take that, and that's what we got to do. We got to look at what's your ideal future state, right? And where are you at now, and what things do you need to do to build the path ahead of you, right? And that's essentially one of the favorite things that I do now about my job right now. Like that's legitimately operational planning right there. And so what is your operational approach to the achieving your strategic goals here? And so that's where we identify your means and what you have available to you. We identify what you need to do, and then we start laying those actions out over time. And that's really just taking a calendar and putting down what you need to do over different spans of time and how it's going to mature towards achieving your ideal future state. We don't want to call it an end state. While your journey in this regard may end to whatever extent, you want to have this ongoing strategy. There's not a finite point to it necessarily. You want to give it that opportunity to continue to develop and mature. There you go.
Incredible. I'm gonna DM you probably later and get that unpacked a little bit more more of a stage by stage plan. But guys, that's exactly what I wanted, exactly what I needed, and hopefully that was stuff that can just be applied to anybody who wants to do something similar.
Yeah, I think that make it fun. You got to want to do it too. This is anything like this. It's there will be times when you don't want to do it, but kind of already convincing yourself it's the right thing to do and then sticking to and knowing that it's better to stay in a routine than slip out of it.
Yeah. I think for me right now, I think the best thing I can do is not do long episodes.
Managing your time, right? I mean, it's a big deal, and figuring out the right amount of appetite that you have as well as others have. I think that's a big point.
They're going to be 20-minute things, whatever they are. I may do something written instead, because I do so many visual mediums, so many audio mediums, that maybe I'll just be like, well, let's see if I can actually write well enough and work on another skill set rather than something that I think I do okay. No one's kicked me off this podcast yet, so.
Yet. Remember that. What does the future state look like Red just talked about?
Paul rotates every 9 years. Paul rotates the entire cast.
It's like Pluto going around the sun. I think it's Oh no, of course kidding.
Sure.
I think it's going to be cool to follow along the journey, even if we just talk about it here, about trying to be number one Dark Angel player in the world.
Or it's not something that I ever thought was. No, yeah, exactly right. It's not something I ever thought was possible before. Like, so I went for it. I went for number one player in Australia in the ITC in, I think it was the 2017 or 2018 season, and I came third. I was in the top 30 in the rankings in the world, but I only managed to come, I think it was fourth for guard, and that was simply because I couldn't attend the LVO. I got jumped by like two people. Yeah. It was first and second all the way through the year, and then I got jumped by two people just because I couldn't go to the LVO because it was too many people in attendance. But now there are so many 100, 200, 300